Welcome to this installment of How to Enhance Your Relationships with Your Children and Strengthen Your Influence for Life. In this second installment, or part 2 of the 3-part series, Enhancing Your Relationships and Influence with Your Child, we'll hear from Jennifer Kalari, author of Connected Parenting. In this second installment, we'll talk about yelling, screaming, and losing our temper. Although it's very human and normal, it weakens the relationship and we lose influence each time we do it. The trick is how to handle it when we've lost it, or prevent it altogether.
The amazing part is talking to your kids this way as much as possible. So you can talk to them anytime this way. And I call it conversation or incidental mirroring. So conversational mirroring and incidental mirroring are really about it's a shift, it's a philosophy, it's a way of communicating that you're sort of altering so that everyday simple conversations can also give you that oxytocin, which will strengthen the bond, which will directly sort of answer the question here, right? So having these kind of lovely little moments where you're getting a little blast of oxytocin, your child walks away and goes, oh, that felt kind of good. And, yelling, which is interesting. I mean, we all yell, and I certainly have my moments with my kids, too. Yelling as a primary parenting technique, it's not great. I mean, if it worked, there'd be a lot of really well-behaved kids in the world. It doesn't really work that well. And I guess, and I say this all the time, but I think it's a message we need to hear quite often is, when have we ever been yelled at or screamed at, and we've gone, oh, gosh, whew, you just straightened me right out. Never. And we have this crazy belief sometimes that kids are going to respond that way, that they're actually going to go, oh, you're right, I'm going to go clean that up right now. When we yell, we put the child in a position where they go into fight or flight, and their energy goes into self-protection. We also undermine ourselves, because then they walk away not thinking, gee, I really should have unloaded the dishwasher. She's so mean. She's just mean to me all the time, and she doesn't do that to my brother. She only does it to me. So it's really concentrating on, are we about to say something that our children need to hear, or are we about to say something that we feel like saying? They're often two very, very different things. So if this mom has to do an awful lot of yelling, then probably what's happening is the kids are immune to it, or they only listen when mom's really beside herself, angry. When you're not terribly invested in someone's yelling, and this happens to kids all the time, when adults are just kind of screaming when it's something they do all the time and you get kind of numb to it, it's actually funny sometimes to see adults blowing their top. And then you have to get more angry to actually convince them, no, this is not funny. This is serious. And then you end up crying yourself to sleep because you think, oh, that's not how I wanted to handle that. I have so many parents who say to me, I was a really nice person before I had kids. I didn't yell, and now I yell all the time. Certainly not saying that you can't yell. I mean, we're all going to yell sometimes. We have to be realistic. And you can certainly repair and go back, use the calm technique to fix it when you do. And I don't think it's particularly normal either to live in a house where everyone handles every situation perfectly, because then you're not building the circuitry in the brain to handle, bumps when they come. So I would suggest to this mom that she really think about using the calm technique in a conversational way, building up those kind of conversational moments where she's strengthening the bond in general, finding individual time with them. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about baby play or not, but this is also a fantastic way to release oxytocin and strengthen the bond. And what baby play is about, or connecting play is about, is that you just make them feel delicious. You just look right into their face and just make them feel yummy and just say, oh, I don't care if you're 9, you're just, oh, so cute, and I love the way you did this, and sort of noticing and catching them doing delightful little things. Tickling them and just having a really close, connected physical moment. And a lot of parents say, oh, I do that all the time. But if you really think about it, we could certainly do more of it. Often we don't do it as much of it as we think we do. And most kids absolutely eat it up. They love it. They're like a sponge, and they suck it in because they really, really need it. What they're craving is oxytocin. And you'll get an oxytocin release at the same time. It makes you want to do it more, too. And it doesn't have to be, 20 minutes. It can be 5 minutes here and there. If you're having trouble with your kid, I'd recommend more. But it's quite lovely, and I would suggest, if possible, to do it individually. Each child is sort of getting their own little special moment. And bedtime is a great time to do it. First thing in the morning is a great way to do it. You can also leave little baby pictures of them around. And if they're the kind of kid where they don't really like you to squeeze them and tickle them and touch them so much, then you can just, pick up a toy and say, oh, you used to be this size, and I remember when you fit in my arm just like this, and they'll get the same oxytocin release. Often I'll say to parents, if you do nothing else and you just do that, you'll often see behavioral change.
In the second segment of Part 2, we're going to hear from Dr. Carol Dweck, a 30-year veteran researcher on personal achievement, motivation, and development. She's also the author of Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. She's going to talk briefly about how common it is for parents to be inconsistent with each other and how important it is for both mom and dad to talk to their kids in growth language.
We have worked with young children where we have them role play their parents' reaction to their mistakes. And we had one child who had, one parent said in the role play, so the child had puppets representing each parent, and he had the mother say, "Oh, we're not upset. We're not mad at you. We know you tried your best." And the mother turns to the father and says, "We're not mad at him, are we?" And the father says, "Oh, yes, we are. Son, you better get right to your room." So this child was hearing two messages. One, that mistakes are okay as long as you try hard, and the other message is, we're going to judge you for your mistakes. And in this case, the little boy really took the father's message to heart. But I think it's important for a child to be getting growth mindset messages from as many sources as possible.
That's it for Part 2 of this 3-part series. Part 3 will be coming soon. Please like us here on Facebook, add us to your personal favorites, and suggest us to friends. Thanks again,